In this video, let's talk about some bash commands. Some bash commands that I use every single day. They are precious, and I definitely like to give you this end of year gift, which will definitely complement your tool set. So let's go to the video. We are here in this terminal, and today we'll be seeing some amazing commands, and I'm gonna share a lot of bonus, a lot of tips and tricks that I basically use all the time. They will not be a complete guide of each command. Let me know down below in the comments if you like to see one video for one specific tool that we'll be presenting here. But the information that will be shared, I'm confident that you really enjoy. So let me create here like a list, and then we can have an idea about all those commands. Let me do like this, and we can start. So cat is the command that we can definitely use to check some content. Anytime you see the command, the manual page, I always recommend you guys to take a look in the manual page. Definitely this is going to help you to understand better, to see all the parameters, all the flags, everything that is possible or not possible. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Definitely do a double check, spend some time in the documentation, and you will be surprised of how many things you can do with all the parameters and flags that are already available for us. So basically cat is concatenate files and print on standard outputs. So we can see some information over here, and that's okay. We can see some examples. Let me show you some examples. So let's take a look on etc hosts. This is one server from my local environment. And from here, we can see like the loopback IP address and the loopback on IPv6 pointing to those names. And this seems to be okay. This seems to be fine. Now, there is this flag that I like the most, which is VET or VET. And then let me ask you, can you see something different on this terminal? I believe yes, you can. This is the character. And this is a hidden character, like this is the end of the line, but as you saw here, they are not visible, or they were not visible for us in a naked eyes. So basically this is like a superpower. This is very strong because you can see things that normally you will not be able to see. With that said, let's play a little bit with this file. etc hosts, let's say that I would like to add here 10, 10, 10, 10. I will add a space, server 1, and eventually I'm gonna copy this one, and I will do this. So if I just do a cat on this file, those lines, they seem the same. So anytime that I'm doing troubleshooting, I see this one and then I don't trust in my eyes. So I have to see under the hood. I need to see what's going on over there. So are you ready? Look at that beauty. Now I can say for sure, this one here has spaces as a delimiter. This one has a tab character, tabulation. So in other words, this one is different from this one. If you are creating one application that is expecting to have a spaces as a delimiter, this first line is going to work as expected. The second one will not, because there is no space over here. What we have here is just a tabulation. So with that said, sometimes yes, not with this specific file etc host, but you can see that eventually your application will not be reading the information properly. And then you say, but man, I do my cat on that file and everything seems fine, everything seems perfect. It is not. It is exactly because of this. If you have spaces, then there you go, it's going to work fine. If you have some hidden characters, which can be like tabulation, can be a new line, can be some hidden characters when moving files from different file systems, binary file. Yeah, some garbage will be over there. And this is a simple way to figure this out. Another tip here is this. You can definitely use Vim. And Vim seems pretty similar. Like I can pass my cursor and I can see that my cursor is moving on. Whenever I go here, this is a tip. So there is something happening here. I'm not confident yet what's going on, but I was expecting something like this. And in Vim or VI, you can just put your column and set list. This is gonna do a very, very similar thing as your cat-vet, because now you can see all the hidden characters. See, this is a new line, or the end of the line, this is a blank line. So here we know for sure that we have spaces. So yeah, definitely this is a pretty cool tip, because you can definitely see we are adding spaces. And here, look at that. If I type multiple tabs, I can see the tab over here, but anytime that I get out, let's save this one, let's do a cat again. See, it seems to be like some spaces. And again, this can be very problematic based on the source of this file, because I will definitely be in trouble. So cat-vet is amazing, very, very good. And complementing the VET, you can add a B, and then you can see the number of the line specifically that you are working on. Hey, Wally, can I remove the VET and just keep the -B? Yes, that B is going to give you or provide you the number of the line. Okay, how do you know that? Because those are amazing. And eventually I have to copy and paste these in my text editor. I have to eventually enable something like on my VI and then set new just to enable the number of lines. Again, the manual page will also give you all the hints that you need. Just search -B, for example, number non-blank. You can take a look and you can find -V. Then we can see VET. So check this out. Number or show non-printing. And then you can see all the information, everything that will be printed. We use it -E, equivalent to -VE in uppercase. And this is going to show you the ends. So if we take a look here again, check this out. Now we can see just the ending, but I'm not able to see the tabulation or anything else. So to keep this simple, just keep in mind, -VET will be a big friend of yours, because this is going to show you all the hidden characters, everything that you cannot see, and this totally deserves your thumbs up and subscription. Let me clean up this file real quick, and we can move it on to the next tip. So we have less. Let me use this terminal on top, /etc/profile. And then, yes, we can use less similar to more, but this has many more features. I like to go up and down, and eventually if I'm looking for something, you can see the highlight. So this is good. And let's suppose that I was looking for this specific block, but I would like to keep this one over here and then paste. So I'm going to get out from this file and I'll copy this and paste somewhere else. Then whenever I press Q, that code is away. So is there any way to keep that information on the screen? The answer is yes. And this will be simple to remember, because when something is broken, you try to fix. So nice tip, -fix. Anytime that you execute your less, this will be pretty simple to remember, -fix, because I want to fix stuff. And then similar idea, I can search my code. Okay, this is the piece of code. Anytime that I press Q, look at that, now the code is over here on the screen. So I can definitely copy and paste this somewhere, and this is pretty useful. Sometimes I would like just to keep that information over there and then quit and do some additional things, but look in that specific line or specific command, something like that. So fix is your friend for good. And Wally, how do you know that? Again, my little Padawan, anytime, all the time, use the command man. So last, you can see all the flags that we have. Again, there are many more flags. If you search by fix, you'll be in trouble because there is no fix, but you can search by -F and then look at that. Quit if one is screen. So cause less to automatically exit if the entire file can be displayed on one screen. Let me show you here. I have another file, which is the local file. So if I do a less on this little one, See, it's still over there. I can see the local file. It is not out. So I have to press Q. If I pass -F, there you go. This printed that information and get off of the information because I'm passing -F. So assuming that you have a content that will represent everything, the whole information, a single screen, there you go. The last is going to get out automatically. And this is because of the F. So yeah, you don't have to do any parts or do anything before the command last because you'd like to quit automatically. Just use -F. This is your friend. This is simple to be implemented. And again, this is in our documentation. You can find this easily. So -I, we can search again, ignore case, which is good, and -X, disable sending the term cap, initialization, or de-initialization strings to the terminal. This is sometimes desirable, exactly like clearing the screen. So again, I will not be doing this with all the commands, but you can see that the manual page is definitely your friend. And my tip about the last is this one. Anytime use fix, because this is going to help you to fix things. And you can see that X in lowercase is wrong. It is fixed in uppercase. If I have this on my local file, which is very small, that's okay. The last is going to get out. But if I have this one over here in a huge file, I can get out from that file and the content will still in my screen. Pretty cool, huh? Amazing. Let's move it on to the next, which is sad. And don't be sad because sad is amazing. Let me add one more file or one more entry over here for the sake of this command. Basically, we can see that I have 10, 10, 10, 10. This is pointing to my server.local.lab and second.local.lab. If I take a look on my file at the C hosts, I have just one file, okay, the hosts file, and this is the content of this file. One very common situation, I will keep the information on the top, is this. I have my SAD and I'm doing a substitution. I'm looking for this pattern or some information that will match with this local after my first forward slash. And if I find something, or if SAD finds something, I would like to change this to king. So my expectation here is this. We can see that we have local over here and we have local over here. So basically, I would like to see the output as 10, 10, 10, 10, my server.king.lab and second.king.lab. Okay, are you ready? This is weird because I can see the output. The IP address is still the same because this is not matching with that query. We got the local, which is matching with this. And then I can see my server.king.lab. And this is because of the SAD, because assuming that you find local, go on and move this to king. However, check the second entry, second.local.lab. In my case, I still see like second.local.lab. This is a flag. This is an option that we have on SAD that you can, if you find the first one, just the first one, and this is without the G, just update that information. I'm good with that. So you don't need to update anything else. But let's assume that I have this situation, I have this scenario. I have local multiple times in the same line. And assuming that I would like to change all of them, I have to pass one additional flag over here, which is G of golf. So are you ready? Boom, check this out. Now I have my server.king.lab because this was matched with this one. And then the SAD is still looking for, was able to find the second local, and then second.king.lab. So this is working. Now I have this regular expression working fine, changed to the two options, the two entries that we have in this file. By the way, let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see a full video here about regex or regular expression. If you have any specific questions or doubts, let me know. We can see that this is working fine. However, let me show you this. If I go to my local file or the etc host file, they are still the same. But Wally, I saw over here, this is happening. Like this is matching, I can see the change, but anytime that you run that cat on etc host, the file it's still the same. Like the original version was untouched. And yes, so with that said, what I see a lot is people doing things like this. Okay, I have my set, let me redirect this one to etc host. Eventually things like this is going to work, eventually not. So if you are careful, you'll be doing something like new, and then after that you will be moving that host underscore new to your original file. Again, it's going to work. If we take a look here, I can see that this has my king. If we take a look on etc hosts, we have the local, and now if I do a move on etc hosts underscore new, not tmp, etc hosts underscore new to my etc hosts, this is gonna work. However, are you ready? Let's learn something new and pretty interesting, because this is not beauty. I definitely don't like this approach over here. So let's remove this guy, the new one. Yeah, I don't want that one. And as soon as this one is working fine, I'm pretty confident that this is doing what I'm looking for. I was looking for local, and I can see that this is changing, or at least the set command is work as expected, because this should be my server.king.lab, as we can see here. And this is second.king.lab. I would like to see that one over there. Can I tell to sed, hey, go on and update the file in place live? Can you do that for me? Definitely yes. And what is the flag? How can I see that? Again, my little Padawan. Manual page, sed, let me search by -i, suffix, -- in place, or -- in -place. And then you can set the suffix. Edit files in place. Makes backup if suffix is supplied. In other words, if I pass something like this -i, this is going to change that file and will not create a backup file. However, we are very good professionals. We would like to keep the backup, because if something went wrong, I have my backup. I would like to get that information back. Then I can put something like this, dot backup. And Wally, do I need a equal over there? Let's give it a try without the equal, and then you can see. So seems to be okay. Let's take a look on our hosts file. I can see that the file got changed properly. And now, are you ready? Look that beauty. Dot backup. So answer your question, no, it's not necessary to pass an equal sign. Anything that you put after -i will be assumed as the suffix. And if you have the suffix, a backup file will get created. If you're not passing the suffix, the file, the original file, the source file will get updated, and that's all. So with that said, let's do a double check on both files. This is the hosts, and this is the backup file with the original information. Pretty cool one. All right, let me remove that file, the backup, and let me come back with the original hosts file. Yet on sed, let's update this file. And now the content of this local file is this one. I have my first, second, and third columns. Let's call columns. And the delimiter here is my forward slash. Can I change some information? Can I change something on my text using sed? Yes, we saw it, because we were looking for that pattern, which was local, and we move it to king. Now I would like to change this slash to something else. So let me copy and paste over here, and we can take a look on this command. So basically, I'm doing a very similar approach as before. We have the sed, we are doing a substitution. then my pattern, the first one will be the forward slash. And if I find the forward slash, I would like to change this to the exclamation point. And the G, you already know, if you have multiple forward slashes or multiple characters that matches with this one, I would like to change all of them. And we are doing this against this file, the local file. So my expectation here now is first, exclamation mark, second, exclamation mark, third. So let's press enter. Something seems wrong. And why is that? Because this is matching with the fields that I'm using to delimiter my set or my command. Okay, can I add one additional slash over here? Something like this? No. I have to escape. And basically a simple way to escape is using the backslash, and then there you go. This is nice because you can definitely set the backslash just to escape that character. Literally, I'm looking for not a delimiter. I'm not passing a delimiter. I'm looking for a forward slash. And then to be literal, I have to escape that character. And because of that, I have my backslash. But believe me, sometimes whenever you get a little bit more advanced with regex, your line will be crazy. These will get insane because you have a lot of backslashes just to escape or just to do some additional stuff. Is there any way to change this one or this behavior? Yes. One thing that I can do with set, pretty cool, is instead of be using my forward slash as a delimiter to my pattern, let me use another character. And instead, I'm going to be using pounds. Simple like that. So if I'm looking for some character that will be part of my, for example, for instance, this forward slash, that can be a problem. So instead of be using this backslash, I can just change all the fields or the delimiters that will be used by SAD. In this case, I'm using the pound sign, and then boom, we have this done. Hey, Wally, can I use a different character? For example, at. We can try this live. Yes, pretty cool, huh? All right, let me know down below in the comments if you saw something like this before or if this is brand new to you, because this is pretty cool. This tip is amazing. I definitely like and enjoy to use this one, the pound sign, because this will avoid me a lot of backslash just to escape. Yeah, this is amazing. This is pretty cool. Let me do one more thing here. We have the local file, and I'm gonna do something like this. I'm gonna copy this 5 times, and then we have the first, the second, the third, first again, second again, and third again. Okay, now we have multiple lines. If you are asking, look at that. Let's use our knowledge. We can see 6 lines, and in the first I have first, second, third, and first again, second again, third again. Let me put like this. We've said one thing that I can do, which is pretty cool, is something like this. 1D. And Wally, what is that? What that means, like 1D and local file. So check this out. The first line is this one. And what I'm telling to set is, hey, go on and delete that first file, or the first line, not the first file, the first line. So you can see that now we can see here, or we are starting by the second, this one. Can I get a range, or can I delete a second line, for instance? So definitely yes. You can see the first, second, third is over there. And then we just skip the second, third. And now we are in the third. So I can remove the first line, the second line, the third line. I can remove one specific line, for instance, assuming that I would like to. And let's say that you like to save the file with this specific information updated, because you're looking for that line, you already know the number of the line, and then you can do exactly this. This will be the number of the line that you like to remove, to delete. You are passing the file, And here you're saying, hey, go on and change on the file. If you like to create a backup, you can do something like this. I will not remove this line yet because we have more things to see. So let's take a look on this one here again. What if I would like to remove a block? And instead of one single line, I would like to remove a block, like from the first line up to the third line. Is that possible? There you go, my friend. So we are starting now on first again, second again, third again. So we are here because the line in between 1 up to 3, they are gone. Let me show you another thing. Can I start on the second and go up to the fourth? Definitely, you can. So the first, second, third related to the first line still here, still around. And then we remove the second, the third, the fourth. And then we can see second again over here and third again, which is matching with this one. So I can tell you for sure, this is a pretty neat, pretty good tip, because eventually you have this need just to update some stuff, change some configuration. And if you like to do this live, you can. And now if we take a look on this local file, check this out. I have my first, second, third, and then second again, third, third again. So I just update that file, and in your bash script, you can update the source. You can create some backups just to be safe. And yeah, this is pretty cool, pretty amazing. And once again, anytime man said, you can definitely spend some time on the manual page of the command that we are discussing, that we are talking about, because there are many, many more flags, many, many more options, many different approaches that you can use set command. So this is a very, very basic, a very, very shallow introduction. But again, let me know down below in the comments if you like to see a full video just talking about SAD. If you have specific questions about SAD, I will love to hear, and I would love to create content about that specific questions or questions that you may have. Okay, perfect. Let's clean up this one. Let's do a cat again. We were on SAD, and now let's move it on to awk or AWK. Let's come back to this local file, and from here I would like to use this one. Let me bump this a little bit. Okay, we have first, second, and third using the delimiter forward slash, first, second, third using delimiter comma, and first, second, third using delimiter space. Wally, are you sure that is a space? Now you know, vet or VET, then yes, we can tell you for sure that this is a space, okay? Using awk is very nice because if we execute this command, check this out, what is happening. I can see the cats on local file, and I know, guys, I can pass awk, the command, and the file just for the sake of introduction and the sake of keep simple. Then I'm gonna keep the cat over here. I have a lot of friends that say don't do that with the cat because the cat is good. Cat is a good person, a good command, a good friend. So we are consuming more resources, more vCPU, more CPU cycle and time. I know. But we are printing the contents. The output of this file or this command is gonna go pass through the pipe straight to awk command. And we are printing the first field. You can see that this has all the information. This one has all the information. This one has just first. See? Just this one. And why is that? This is happening because by default, awk will use the space as a delimiter. So there is a space over here. This is the first field. If I like to pick my second field, look at that. The first and second line, they just went away because I'm looking for a space. There is no space over here, and there is nothing after that. So they are empty lines, but the last line has a second because there is a space over here. If I go to the third, same idea. First and second are empty, and the third field is over here because there is a delimiter, a space delimiter. If I put the fourth field, none of them will be presented because there is no more information, okay? Pretty cool. Let me show you another thing that is pretty impressive. We can use an F just to present the last field. And again, once there is no space over here, the last field is the first one. So yeah, I can see all this information. I can see the same over here. And in this case, I can see the third because I have my first field, second field, and third field by default using the space as a delimiter. So because of that, I'm able to see the third field over here. Hey Wally, am I able to change this delimiter? By default, we have the space. Can I change this one? Definitely yes. I can pass -F and I can set the delimiter. So now you can see that we are calling awk, we are passing -F, the delimiter. How do you know? Again, my friend, always rely on the documentation. This is the field separator. And by default, we have the space, but you can definitely change. And this is what I'm doing here. The delimiter now is /, and I would like to see the last field. Assuming this is the delimiter, this will be my first field, my second, and my third. This is what is happening with the first line. And if you see the second and the third, they are presenting the whole thing because I'm grepping or I'm getting the NF. Wally, what is NF? We can search here on the documentation, the number of fields in the current input record. So again, anytime go to the manual page. If I would like to see the third field over here, see, very similar as we saw before, whenever by default, whenever omitting or not passing the -F, but now for the first line, because the first line has the delimiter that we are playing off, and then we can see that specific line. I believe you got the point here. So let's go straight to the one in the middle. The delimiter will be comma, and you already know, like the first line is empty because we are getting the third column or the third field. The only one that has the third field is this one because we are using comma as a delimiter. If I pick my second, I can see that one in the middle. If I pick the first, I can see this one as part of this little guy. And I can see the whole thing because there is no comma on this line as well, not on this line. So because of that, we can see all of them, the whole thing. This is pretty useful, and definitely the field separator is gonna help you a lot whenever you're working with different types of files, input files, with different delimiters. Assuming that you have different fields, they will not always have spaces as a delimiter. And then this is definitely a simple way that you can play with just to create or to set the delimiter and then pick the field that you like to pick. All right? Perfect. And again, about awk is amazing tool, amazing feature, a lot of information, a lot of things. We can create code, we can use in different approaches. Let me know if you like to watch a full video just about awk. And if you have additional questions or specific questions, definitely this is gonna help me to create this video for you, all right? Let's move it on to the next, which is grep. For this one, I will start with this long line and then we can break this down. Let me put like this. So from here, look at that. Let me add one more command over here and then we can play along. We can see that we have many entries. This is a number of entries, and here we can see the number or the page or the URL I'm getting. And then for this specific page, in this specific log file, which is this one here, and now I can hear you already, hey, Wally, why are you doing this? You are doing cat, and then you're using grep. You can use grep directly on the file. I know. Stick with me. This is a cat on this file. And I will explain this in a bit, but for this specific URL, we can see 912 entries. For this one specifically, 894, and go on. So you can see that we have 24, 8, 7, even 1 for this specific URL. All right, let me break this down for you. What I like to do anytime that I'm playing with bash, I will keep this one here on the top. Or let's do this head. So let's break this down. What I like to do is basically this one. Let's remove the whole thing and start from the beginning. I am doing a cat and I can hear the meow over here and on this specific file. This is gonna print the whole thing, okay? After that, I'm passing this to pipe grep -o, and then we have a little bit of regular expression here because I have my space, 200 space. So let me do this. And I was able to get all the 200 space. If we take a look on this one, it's something like this. We have space, 200 space, and then we have some additional information. Let me pick another one. This is 500, 500. This one's 200, 401. So we have different codes over here, and I would like to see only 200. And I can, but this is boring because now I did that grep. Okay, let me remove this one. Now I can see clearly, but there are some information behind that I don't care. I just would like to get all the 200 from here to the end of that line. So something like this, something like this, something like this. And then see, we can see this dash over here. Why this is not a URL? Because of this. We have the command rhsm search d. There is no HTTPS something here, but we have this little one. So because of that, we can see this specific entry. And this is good. Whenever you remove everything and you go step by step or baby steps, you can understand what's going on, which is the beauty of Bash script. So now we know that we are grepping this one. And then I heard that grep has a flag, which is -o. And then this is matching. Let's take a look on grep. If I search by -o, only matching. This is gonna print only the information that is matching. Then, okay, this seems to be fine, but I would like to see more. And now we can play a little bit here with the regular expression. Again, if you enjoy regular expression, let me know down below in the comments. Now, look at that. I can see everything that is start with that space, 200 space, something else. This is matching the whole thing, 200, only 200. I'm not picking 404, 401, 500, only 200. So I'm matching that information and I'm getting all of them. And then we have this awk. Now let's understand. We have the awk. You already know awk. We are printing the third column. So by default, awk is going to use spaces as a delimiter. So I can tell you that this is one space. So this will be my first field, my second field, my third field. If I pick over here, this is a space, first field, space, second field, space, third field, this one. So let's take a look. There you go. Now we have just the URL and those dashes for rhsm search d. Then I can pass this to another command, which is sort. So the output of this command is going to be the input of this one. And now I'm sorting. So this is very similar to this, which is very similar to this, all of them. If I scroll up, we can see that this is going to change. And then this is matched with all the ones above. If we keep going, this is matching with all the ones above, and so on. So now we have like a pattern because I have this sorted properly. Then after the sort, I would like to pick this output and pass through to my uniq-c. And once again, what is the -c? What is the uniq? Report or omit repeated lines. Are there some flags? Yes, one of them is -c, and we can use this to count. And then I can print all the duplicateds. I can do some additional things over here. I can skip some lines with some specific fields. So again, spend some time on the manual page, do some tests. This will be amazing. From here, we can see that I'm counting. So for this specific line, we can see 140 entries. For this one, 126. For this one, 15. And this is good because if I'm looking for in this log for some operation, how many operations about the scan were executed in that specific time frame or in that specific log file, then I definitely can take a look and use this in my favor. But you can see that the numbers over here, they are not ordered at all. And this is painful to my eyes, at least like, okay, which one is the top one, the second, the third? Then we will end up on this sort. But you can see that I'm passing some additional flags over there. Let me just put the sort over here. You can see that the higher number is at the bottom and the lower number is on the top. So I would like to get my top 10, for instance. If I just do like heads dash and 10 to pick my top 10, okay, something's wrong because on the top by default, via sort, will be the lower numbers. So this is not my top 10. So I have to pick my last lines and then I can use the tail. However, we are smart. So before we use like the tail dash and 10, because this is gonna pick my 10 lines. And again, we will not be sorted like it is sorted from the bottom to top. I would like to see something top to bottom. So can I change this one? Definitely. Dash and R. And now we can see that the top one is on the top, or the top ones are on the top. And definitely I can do my heads dash and 10. And this is gonna pick my top 10 entries based on the number of entries in the log files. Pretty cool, huh? This is amazing. I didn't mention about the flags of sort, and I didn't mention about the flags of the head, but you already know. Man sort, man head. Feel free to take a look. Look for all the flags, give it a try, give it a shot. Definitely they will help you to understand and to eventually get some solution for the problem that you are facing. Also, feel free to let me know down below in the comments if you have some specific questions. I will be more than glad to help you. One more thing here that was not planned, but let's suppose that I would like to get information that is not 200. I can definitely pass dash V. So dash O was matching that specific flag or that specific value. I'm searching by dash V or the opposite. Let me remove everything that is not 200. 500, 401, something like that. Can I remove all of them just to be sure that this is matching? See, 500, 500. We can see some flags over here, some URLs. Again, you can definitely implement, but the main point over here is to go step by step or baby steps just to understand what's going on and how you can play with the grep. My main point about the grep on this specific command is this one. Grep-o is going to match the information that you're looking for. We are looking for 200. This information only will just bring back the space 200 space. We don't want that. We like to add some additional regular expression. This is going to bring that space 200 space and anything after that. And then we can start playing with all the other commands. You're already an expert on awk. You'll just learn sort, unique, and head. So definitely those are the ones that I use also all the time. All right, let's move it on to another one yet on grep. So let's suppose that I have my file 1, which has row 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I have my file 2, which has just row 2. And this is valid for log files, assuming that you have multiple entries and you like to see, okay, I have my file 1 that has a bunch of entries, and I have my second file that has some small entries. I would like to match which information I do have on file 2 that has on file 1. Eventually, you're trying to do some sort of cleanup, or you're trying to match some audit log, something like that. You're trying to find some information. You're trying to find a solution to help you to get to your goal. Sometimes, and I saw this a lot, and I remember I used to do this long ago, I would create one script, and this script used to read my first file and then the second file. I used to do a while loop or for loop, whatever, just to pass through the first file against the second one or the second file against the first one, and trying to do this match line by line. As you can think, this is a very high consumption of resources. Eventually it will be fast because this is Linux. Linux is fast. But if you think about huge files like gigs, 2, 5, 10 gigs of text that you are trying to do this, will not be so simple and will spend a little bit of time. Is there any way to achieve the similar goal easily, natively, something that is built-in? Yes. And again, man, grep. All the information that you need is over here. I will not be spending time on grep, but I can give you some hints like -f pattern file. This is the one that we will be playing for this specific topic. So basically this one, I will not read this one right now. Let me copy the line and paste here. I will not clean up the screen on purpose. So check this out. I have my file 1, I have my file 2. We can see that row 2 is the one that is repeating. And what I'm doing here is just saying, hey, grep, go on and find the information that is matching. We already know this guy, -o, from file 1, and use the pattern or use the reference file, file 2. So basically what grep is doing is, okay, let me see on my file 1 which entry, or if there is an entry that will match with this file 2 content, which is row 2. And then we can see this information over here, which is pretty cool. If you like to see the difference, hey grep, could you tell me something that is on file 1 that is not on file 2? Because I have too many entries, 10,000 lines, 20,000 lines, 100,000 lines. I would like to confirm if there is any information that I have on my file 2 that is not on file 1. And then there you go. Now you can see the row 1, row 3, and row 4. Row 1, row 3, and row 4. They are in your file 1, but they are not part of the file 2. They are not the content of the file 2. And then you can definitely get this information and move it on with your analysis. Again, this is very useful. I use this all the time when I'm doing some troubleshooting, some parses. This is definitely gold. Don't forget this one, all right? And totally deserves your subscription, thumbs up, and anything else. Amazing. Let's move it on. The next command is BC. If you have no clue about BC, not British Columbia, but an arbitrary precision calculator language. This guy is very powerful. You can do a lot of nice things, a lot of cool stuff, but let's stick to the basic. If I just type 2 plus 2, 4. Amazing. 2 divided by 2, 1. Pretty cool. 2 power 3, 8. And if I'm looking for a root square or square root, I can see over here. So pretty simple. You can definitely combine this with your applications anytime that you need to do some sort of calculation. If you like to see more about the ABC, because you can create expressions, you can create like a code, definitely you can spend some time over here. And also feel free to let me know if you like to see one video specifically about BC. Also, if you have some questions or specific questions about BC, I will love to do that. My main point with BC after presenting this one is this, because you saw that was not totally interactive. I have to access the BC and I have to type 2 plus 2 and 4. So, okay, I don't like this. I like some sort of automation. So can I automate this somehow? Definitely you can. You can do an echo 2 plus 2, and just the output of this command over here will be the input of your BC, and then you get your response. Pretty cool, huh? So let's see the similar as above, but over here, if I do an echo 10 divided by 2, before, yeah, I did 2 divided by 2. So 2 power 3, and if we see the square root, we can see the 3 over here. So again, simple stuff. Aux equal $, parenthesis, closing. Let's take a look on the value of aux 3. So you can see that this is pretty smart, simple, neat way of moving on and doing some sort of calculation just by using BC in your scripts. And for BC, there is one package that you need to install, which is BC. And that's all that you need. All right. BC is pretty simple, straightforward. And again, feel free to take a look on the manual page. We will use BC pretty soon, just to let you know. Spoiler time. The next one is TR. So translate or delete characters. You can do, again, a lot of stuff with TR, but let's see some example. I have my echo over here, and this is hello Luna. Hi Luna. I would like to do some stuff. Let's suppose that I would like to change my letter L to Z. So definitely I can do something using SADs. So you're already a master on SADs. So if I find L, let me change this to Z, and then there you go. Ah, I can hear you. Hey Wally, you are missing something over there, because this was able to find just the first one, and then we can see over here, but the second L and the third L is still the same. So if you press G, then okay, Rizzo Zuna. Okay, we are just changing the character L to Z, and this is working fine. We can do this with SADs. Can I do this with TR? Definitely you can. I'll keep the command on top over there, and then you can see that the result was pretty much the same. So whenever you think like in lower level, which one is faster? I don't know. Let's see together. We can get the time over here with SAD, and we can get the time over here with TR. And this is a pretty small difference, but keep in mind that if we extrapolate this to a huge amount of data, this can be a significant difference. So we can see that the SAD here spent like 3 milliseconds, and the TR spent 2 milliseconds. We can rerun just to be sure that this is still the same, and we can confirm 2 and 3. So yeah, I would stick with TR in this kind of situation because of the timing. But if you ask me, doesn't matter for this specific scenario, doesn't matter at all, because you can see like these milliseconds, we are talking about milliseconds. Just keep in mind, if you are work with a huge amount of data and you are spending like minutes, eventually hours, just to finish that process, in this case, yes, I would recommend you to go for TR for sure, because the time here will be huge. The difference at the end of the day will be huge, will not be something very, very small, okay? All right, let me do another thing. I will keep this one here on the screen. And there is another one that I would like to put over here, which is this. If we take a look, we have just hello world, and this is all in lowercase. Now let's suppose that I would like to change this to uppercase, or I would like to do the opposite. Let's suppose that my input is uppercase and I would like to lower all the characters by any reason. Like let's suppose that I have my script and my script is receiving uppercase, lowercase, mixed characters, and I would like to lower all of them, or maybe upper all of them. Can I do that? Definitely yes. If we take a look here, this is passing all the characters that are lower to uppercase. And this is pretty simple. So if I type something that is already in uppercase, doesn't matter, because my output is gonna be translating the lowercase to uppercase. If I have something already in uppercase, I don't have to do anything. But all the characters in lowercase will be there, will be uppercase. Another feature that is pretty cool, TR. And again, we can do a lot of this. We can change the new line, we can change backspace, we can change a lot of characters. This is the one that I use the most, like translating lowercase, uppercase, and vice versa, and also translating some characters. Eventually, I go with sad, but now that I know that this is faster, I'll think twice, for sure. And once again, manual page, TR, feel free to spend some time over here. This is gold. And finally, we have the command called paste. I don't see too many people using paste. I use this a lot because this is very useful, and you see this in a few. I'm able to merge lines of files. Again, feel free to use to check the material, to check the manual page. Important points here that I would like to mention is this, the delimiter and serial. So let me show you a real use case. This is my machine, and my machine is running a satellite. Okay, so let me paste the whole command over here, and then we can do as before, but now I will do a little bit different. If I do a ps-aux, I can see all the process, and then I can see different users. So let's go to the top. Let's take a look on the fields. I can see the first column is user, the second one is the PID or process ID, the percentage of CPU, memory, virtual set size, real set size. This is the memory that my system is indeed consuming, and the terminal, stats, and time and command that's running. So for how long that process is running, this kind of stuff, the status, if this is running, waiting. So cool stuff over here. And if we stick with the first column, look at that. I have the root user, dbus user, cron user, pokid user, foreman, pope, tomcat, postgres. All of them are different users on my system, okay? So the first thing I would like to do is this. You already know grep. So basically, this is getting everything about Pope. But if you see, my logic here is a little bit wrong because I'm grabbing the user Pope over here, Pope, Pope. But check this out. This is not Pope, this is Postgres. And this is getting Pope in the middle or in the command. Like Pope core is a database, and then we have the user Pope, Pope core, but I don't want this information. I wanted the information that is starting by Pope. Again, regular expression. Can I get something from there? The caret over here is telling, hey, get everything using grep that is starting with the character Pope or the string Pope. So now, for sure, I have Pope in the beginning, and we are not able to see anymore the Postgres. I'm just getting Pope from the beginning. See, even this one over here, Pope, we are not getting because I'm using regex. And then I'm saying, hey, get anything that is starting. This is the beginning of the line, like here in this corner, is starting by Pope. Okay, now we are good. And see, this one over here is not totally accurate. Something like this. Okay, let's go to the next. I would like now, and I'm confident that you already know what this is gonna do. This is gonna pick the sixth column. And if we take a look here, look at that. This is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. This is the column. I just would like to pick that information. And then we can see a lot of numbers. And Wally, what are those numbers? You mentioned about RSS. So the command is ps. I can search by RSS. And we can see that RSS is the resident set size, and this is in kilobytes. So that information is telling us, hey, this is the resident set size, the non-swapped physical memory that a task has used. And this is in kilobytes. So if I take a look on this one, this is kilobyte, this is megabytes. So near to 469 megabytes. This is near to 127 megabytes. This is near to 128 megabytes. And this is cool. This is amazing. But check this out. I have all those information. So I have to open my calculator now and copy this one and paste and copy this one and paste and copy this one and paste and copy this one and paste. This is boring. Don't go this path. Don't go this way. So sometimes I will have my first column over here, which will be a text, assuming that I'm grabbing everything, or assume that I'm not removing my pulp user. So if I take a look on the top of this, I have my RSS, which is the header of that line. I could be using my sed, quote unquote, 1D just to delete the first line. But once I'm filtering this user, I don't need that information, or I don't need that parameter, because this is grabbing by the pulp user, and then there is no RSS. So I can definitely skip this one over here. And now we have our friend Pist. So let's learn about this little guy. Okay, Wally, nothing changed. Everything is still the same. So let me paste this one over here. Oops. Let me copy this, paste over here. We can see that one. Let's come back once again para paste. And then look at that. I would like to see one file at a time instead of in parallel, this serial. If I just call my paste-s, I'm calling in serial. So now I have all the information in a single line. If we remove this one and do a wc-l, this is going to count the number of lines, 200 or 20. I would like to put this in a single line. I have one single line. Pretty cool? And now you already know where this is going to end, because we learned before that I can do something like this, equal or echo 2 plus 2, 2bc, and then we have 4. Okay, can I pass this one to bc, and bc is going to do the magic? If I pass this to bc, bc is going to get crazy, because it is the same to do something like this, 2 and 2. bc has no idea, no clue. Something is missing here, which is the sign, the plus sign. Can I change the plus sign over here? Yes, we can. But let's take a look on, see, cat-vet or VET. If we take a look, you already know this. We have the first number, 143,604 and 142,872. 142,872. In between them, check this out. We have this character, which is a tabulation. So tabulation is not our big friend over here. I would like to translate my tabulation to plus. Okay, can I do this using tr? Because you mentioned that we can use tr just to change the tabulation character, for instance, to a plus. Yes, you can, but why do that? You don't need to do that. You don't need to call one more command to execute that step. If you take a look here, we can set the delimiter. So I can reuse the character and change something. So what I can do is just say something like, hey, let me change the delimiter, and I would like to pass plus as a delimiter. Are you ready? Look at that beauty now. Man, if you're not subscribed yet in this channel, you are missing a lot of cool stuff. So go on, I'm gonna wait for you. Just smash that button. Feel free to join us, Discord channel, join this channel as well. You will be very, very welcome. All right, we already have all those fields over here. And now I can remove this cat-vet. That was just for learning purpose. And are you ready? There we go. Now I can tell you for sure, the user pulp on this system right now is consuming, we know that this is in kilobytes, megabytes, gig. So something close to 5.2 gigs. This component called pulp is using on this specific system. And we were able to catch this one just by running this command. Okay, bonus time. I'm giving a lot of bonus here today. Can I check this live? Definitely. You can use watch Watch is another command that I use the most. What is watch? Wally. Execute a program periodically showing output full screen. Full screen. Basically, you can call watch, you can pass some options, you can call your command. Basically, I like to set my double quotes because sometimes what's gonna get crazy, get a little bit lost. So you can definitely put this in between quote unquote and like this. So let me see what is happening. See, definitely our watch is not liking to see this one. And then, okay, can I skip watch? Is there anything else that I can use? This is from old school. So we have this one. Let's suppose that I would like to do something similar with watch, and I would like to see this information changing live. I can do this. While column, and this is while true, while forever. I'm gonna type do. I'm gonna copy and paste that command. I'm gonna set a sleep over here because if I don't do that, while is gonna get crazy executing this every millisecond or even faster. So I would like to keep this command calm. Okay, breathe 1 second, do again, breathe 1 second, do again, and then done. So now we can see that information. Eventually, if something happened with my system, in order to bump or remove, and we can do this. So let's do something like formal maintain service stop. This is going to stop the whole thing, including all the pulp process, workers, everything. At the end of the day, I don't expect to see any information or any value. And eventually DBC is going to fail. We can see some error, I believe. What now? Let's just execute the command. Yeah, there is nothing to be presented. See, there is nothing over there, nothing over there, nothing over there. We have things here, but there is no pulp, just the root user. We can put our while back and let's start. Look at that. We can see the memory consumption. And again, this is on kilobytes, kilo megabytes, gig. So 1.9, 2.3, 2.5. You can do some additional math here if you like to convert this to from kilobyte to gigs eventually, just to put your script fancy and better, simpler. But we can see those values changing. It is because Pulp is back and we'll be doing some additional stuff, but we can see this happening. If you don't want to see all this all the time, like next line, next line, next line, you can do something like clear, and then this is going to be clearing the screen, and we'll be presenting that information for you. In general, the watch works as well, and let me include watch on this list. I didn't add before, but watch is definitely something nice. Let's suppose that I have my folder var www.html pub, and I would like to be checking this folder or some specific file. So I can do something like this, watch, and then notice that if you see here, this is gonna be executed 580002 every 2 seconds. This is gonna be executed. That's okay. Let me keep this one like this. If you would like to change this time, you can. And Wally, how can I check? You can see the -n interval. And I can pass here -n1, which means every second. So you can see now 40, 41, 42, 43. Every second, this is running. And if I do something like var www.html pub file, do you want to remove? Yes. You see that that file got away. So let's create another one here. var www.html pub. Nice video for nice people. See, the file got created properly over there. Then Merry Christmas, another file, and Happy New Year. I will not type any characters. Eventually it's gonna accept, but let's not mess it up with the file name. So you can see that this is live. So anytime that I'm doing some troubleshooting and I would like to see what's going on, eventually the permission of the files, let's suppose that I'm playing with SC Linux, then I can see now some context. You can see over here. And again, this is every second. Can I put this faster? Yes, I can. Let me show you this. The command will not allow quicker than 0.1, which is pretty good, at least for me. So we can do something like this, 0.1, and you're still seeing here like 10 or every second. But believe me, this is pretty fast. And I used to do some crazy stuff, crazy tests, and you can see real quick in this terminal. So let me remove those var HTML, pub, Happy New Year, var HTML, Merry Christmas, and var HTML, pub, nice video. You can see that the response was pretty quick, pretty fast. And the reason is exactly because of this, the time. So we have a very short time, refresh time in that specific command. One more test over here, var HTML, pub, file. Let me create another folder, which will be better. So let's do this, var HTML, pub, files. We don't need, though, to be inside of that folder. So let's put files. Okay, there are no files in that specific folder. Let me put something like this. And I can run the command touch var HTML, pub, files, .log. Let's create the files, var HTML, pub, files, and the name of the files will be files. And here we will be playing with expansion. Let me put like 20.log. So if you take a look, we have this updating every second, and the response is pretty fast. So yes, and I believe we already have some additional files over there. Let me remove those files. Let me do one additional thing over here. wc-l, this is going to be counting the number of files. Okay, we have 0. Let's run this command, 20. Let's remove those files. Let's create 2000, maybe. See, pretty fast. So this time to refresh is pretty good whenever doing some sort of troubleshooting. Let me put like this one over here. If we keep like 1 second, let me put like 10,000. 10,000. Okay, was pretty fast as well. Let's remove. Let's put 100,000. Too long. 50,000. 30,000. Okay, we got some time over there. Let me remove again. See, we got some difference whenever playing with like a huge number of files. Now let me change this to 0.1. Let me remove the files. Let's hit create. Yeah, see, we were able to see like all this difference because now we are refreshing faster and we can see more information. Different from 1 second to 2 seconds. Let's skip this one. Here we cannot see that difference, like will be 30,000, and that's all. So this is a nice way to see what's going on under the hood whenever you need something with some sort of precision. And can I do something similar with while? Definitely you can. So let's play around here real quick. You can see that this is the command. So while true, do, let's paste this one. As I mentioned before, sleep one and done. If you don't want it to be presenting in the screen, just add a clear. This is gonna clean up the screen, and then we can see 3,000 or 30,000, similar as before. Now let's change our sleep. If you put something like 0.1, sleep is gonna get crazy over here, as you can see. And we can see a very similar behavior pretty fast, and we can see everything changing. See? Anyway, we can see which one is best for our needs. I don't like this popping up all the time. I definitely prefer something like this. I will put 0.01 over here, and I will remove, come on, and I will remove the clear, and eventually that will be there. So if I remove everything, 0, if I touch, we can see all those chains. Eventually I'm gonna redirect this to a file, and then I will have some information that I can play with. But yeah, this is definitely another way that you can achieve the same goal. If your watch is not working for that specific command, or if you're in a machine that there is no watch at all. And this used to happen long ago. Different flavors of AIX, of Solaris, IRIX. So yeah, we don't used to have watch command in that specific time frame on those operating systems. Then while true was the deal, the big guy. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I mentioned before, a lot of cool commands that I use every single day, commands that I use to automate my process, automate my scripts, automate a lot of tasks. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any tip that you'd like to share. Also, if there are any questions or additional commands that you'd like to hear about it or know. Also, let me know if you'd like to watch some specific video for one of those commands over here. One that I know, or at least that I believe, is awk, because awk is amazing, very powerful, and we can talk a lot about awk. So let me know. Don't forget to subscribe in our channel if you are not yet. Also, feel free to join us in our Discord channel. One more time, I wish to you and to all of your family a happy new year, and I will see you in the next video and in the next year. Take care. Bye.